adjusted all my edges, smooth my truth into disguise. Not because you forced it, not because you asked, but loving you so deeply made me bend too fast. I thought losing you would hollow every corner of my chest, that I'd wander through the hours like a guest without a rest. But something unexpected rose up clear and true, a voice I kept on whisper breaking through. I found me in the living in the space you didn't fill. In the mornings I woke early, and the nights I learned to be still. Not broken into pieces, not aching to be saved, just standing in my own name, unapologetic brave. I started drinking coffee the way I like it strong. Stopped apologizing for feeling things too long. I rearranged the furniture of habits in my head, let go of tiny doubts I'd quietly fed. I walked alone through crowded streets without shrinking from the air. Let laughter come unfiltered, let strangers see me there. I wore the dress you never liked and felt my shoulders rise, not out of spite or anger, but because it felt like mine. I don't blame you for the ending, we loved the best we could, but somewhere in that loving I forgot what felt like good. To me, not just to us, to my own steady flame. And losing you revealed the difference in my name. I found me in the leaving, in the ache that didn't stay, in the mirror every morning where I didn't look away. There's power in the breaking when it clears the view of who you are beneath the love you once grew. I started making plans again that didn't need a pair. Booked a ticket somewhere distant without asking if you'd care. Signed my name to dreams I used to set aside, because I thought devotion meant letting parts of me hide. Now when I think about you, there's warmth without the plea, gratitude for what we were, and space for who I'll be. You were part of my becoming, but not my only shape, and I don't need your shadow to validate my escape. I found me in the leaving, in the rhythm of my breath, in the gentle understanding that love is not a debt. It's a meeting, not a merging, not dissolving into two. And now I stand more centered in everything. If someday we cross paths again, we'll see it in my stride. The quiet kind of confidence I no longer try to hide. Not hardened by the ending, not closed against the start, just rooted in a deeper trust inside my own heart. I found me in the leaving, that is what remains. Not a scar to carry forward, but a wisdom in my veins. Loving you is beautiful, but loving me is true. And now I walk into the world whole without you. Distant line, comparing shadows on the wall to someone else's shine. I learned to fold my sharper edges, tuck my colors in, trying to fit an error. We're afraid to practice patient growth. The mirrors tell a different truth when you are still enough. They don't guides my living days. The rhythm underneath my skin keeps faithful even time. A pulse that says I'm worthy now without a mountain climb. I bless the girl I used to be for trying hard to please. She did her best with what she knew to navigate the seas. And now I take her by the hand, not to correct or blame, but to thank her for the strength that helped me stake my claim. Comparison is a fading tune, I no longer sing along. My harmony is shaped by me, distinct, short and strong. I dress my mornings in my taste, not in what trends demand. I move according to my pace with grounded open stance. There's freedom in accepting space. My body takes the sound my deep voice makes, the path my courage makes. I speak with warmth, I walk with ease, I rest without defense. I trust the steady undertone of lived experience. If doubt should whisper in my ear, I greet it like a guest. I listen, then I let it pass and choose what serves me best. I am not late, I am not less. I'm exactly where I grow. Every scar and softened line is something true to show. The world may spin in louder ways with brighter claims to fame, but I am centered in my frame, unafraid to claim my name. And when I catch my own reflection in glass or passing rain, I see a woman standing tall, comfortable and plain. No borrowed light, no hidden tone, no need to rearrange. Just steady love within my bones, unshaken by the change. So let me live in honesty with all that I contain. In my own reflection clear, I rise again and again.
You're sitting on the edge of your bed, thinking you're behind, measuring your worth against a future undefined. The room feels small around you, posters on the wall. Every dream looks fragile, like it might not stand at all. You keep replaying conversations long after they are done, wishing you had answered in a way that might have won. You think the world is watching every awkward move, like one wrong step will cancel all you hope to prove. Dear younger me, I wish that you could see the weight you're holding now won't last indefinitely. You're not as lost as you believe, not as far from free. There's time ahead unfolding more than you can see. The piano plays a gentle line, soft and unafraid. Brushes tracing patience like slow decisions made. The baseline rests beneath it, low and warm and clear. A steady kind of promise that you will make it here. You think that confidence arrives all at once, that someday you'll awaken, transformed by circumstance. But growth is quieter than that. It builds in subtle ways, in how you rise again. On unremarkable days, there will be evenings later where you'll sit just fine, not because you solved it all, but because you gave it time. The doubts that feel enormous will shrink to honest size. They won't disappear completely, but they won't run your life, dear. expression means you're out of touch. The ones who truly see you will stay without a plea. You will learn to like yourself more steadily. You're doing better than you think right now. You will try and fail at something, but instead find your name, and you will think it's over, that you stepped outside the frame. But failure is an exile, it's shaping you unseen into someone far more grounded than you've ever been. You'll find your voice in fragments, not in one clear shout, in pauses before speaking, in knowing when to bow out, in choosing calm responses when old fears try to leave, in realizing you're enough without excessive speed. Younger me, be kinder to your heart. Not everything uncertain is falling apart. Some paths look disconnected before they intertwine, and what feels like delay is often perfect timing. Breathe, you're allowed to grow slow. One day you'll look back gently, not with sharp regret, but gratitude for every risk you almost didn't get. Because the version sitting there on that small unmade bed is braver than you realize, despite the things you said. Dear younger me, hold on but not too tight. Life won't hand you all at once the answers overnight. It unfolds in patient layers, in steps you cannot see, and you become exactly who you're meant to be.
Across the floor, I feel it settle on my shoulders like I've been here before. It's been some time since I've stood within this open frame, where every breath becomes a sound and every sound a name. I used to chase the loud nights, the rush of being seen, the dazzling rush of crowded rooms and stages dressed in sheen. But silence shaped me differently in rooms without applause. It taught me how to hear myself without the outside cause. Now when I step into this glow, my pulse is calm and sure. I do not need the noise to rise, to feel that I endure. The piano finds a gentle key, the bass begins to flow. A rhythm steady, grounded, warm, like something I already know. I open with an honest note, not sharpened for effect. No borrowed tone, no polished edge, just truth in full respect. The audience is breathing soft, a sea of patient eyes. I sing not to impress the room, but simply to arise. Each phrase lands closer to my chest than any song before. Because I'm not performing now, I'm a moment opening a door. There were years I shaped myself to fit a narrow mold, sanding down the grain of me to match what I was told. But depth cannot be manufactured or filtered into shine. It grows in quiet solitude until the roots align. So now I let the lower notes resonate and stay. Let measured breath reveal the woman of today. The spotlight does not blind me. It feels like morning air, a circle of intentional light that says your name right there. I see a face in the second row, hands folded near her heart. If even one line reaches her, then that alone's enough. The brush drums keep a steady sway. The guitar threads between electric keys and subtle hues support, but never lean. My voice rises not in force, but fuller than before. A tone that carries history without the weight it wore. I sing of roads I wandered off, of doubts I learned to face, of how returning to myself was not a fall from grace. When the final chorus settles into the waiting air, there is no frantic need for more, no hunger for a glare. Applause begins in gentle waves, then leads but doesn't know. The deeper triumph lies within a steadier backbone. I bow not as a conqueror or someone newly crowned, but as a woman finally sure of where her voice is found. Oh, the curtain falls in softened light. The stage returns to calm, yet something stronger lingers still, a quiet lasting balm. I did not come to claim the past or resurrect its flame. I came to stand in present tone without a need for fame. And as I step beyond the glow into the waiting hall, I carry not the echoes rush, but something truer still, because the place I truly sought was never just the song. It was the ground beneath my feet where my voice belongs.
Pull it from the back of the closet, fabric cool and still, sleeve remembering the shape. Last year's quiet chill, the scent of cedar windows, faint but clear and clean, like something folded carefully between what's plain and seen. Button smooth beneath my thumb, collar brushed with light, mirror catching older lines, softer winter white. I shrug it over your shoulders, feel the weight align. Not heavy, not dramatic, just settling into mine. First coat of the season, air turning sharp and thin, breath visible for seconds before it pulls back in. No rush to prove endurance, no rush to chase the cold, just stepping out more mindful than I was years ago. The piano moves in open tones, cool but never bleak. Brushes trace a gentle pulse, measured, calm, unique. The bassline hums beneath it, low and grounded deep, like a steady inner warmth the weather cannot keep. Leaves along the sidewalk, crisp beneath my stride, colors shifting quietly along the curbside. There's something in transition that used to feel abrupt. Now it feels like tuning instead of being cut. I used to fight the cooling, cling to fading heat, wishing days were longer, unwilling to retreat. But seasons have their timing, independent of my will, and learning to accept that feels surprisingly comfort in the layering and scarves around the throat, in feeling slightly smaller inside a thicker coat. Not shrinking in importance, just closer to the core, aware of every heart behind the closing door. The wind moves down the avenue, carrying its tone, but I don't brace against it or walk it off alone. I move with steady foot and not racing for the train, because colder air can clarify what heat made hard to name. First coat of the season, not lost but different light, a gentler kind of brightness against the coming night. Some chapters cool on purpose to sharpen what we see, and standing in that clarity feels quietly like me. It fits just like it should. Fabric warming with my pace, no longer feeling cold. The door clicks closed behind me, outside the dust can roam, and I'm the coat up ready for the days to come. Gravel shifting under shoes, breath steady warm. Last few steps along the path after winding form. Trees thinning near the summit, sky widening slow. City stretched in distant lines far below. I set my bag beside the bench, wood weathered pale, initials carved in corners, stories without a tale. Wind moves across the open hill, cool against my face, carrying a broader view of time and place. Bench above the city, no applause, no sign, just quiet confirmation. The climb was mine, no ribbon at the finish, no camera in the sky, just lungs returning evenly after steady try. The piano open, spacious chords, clear and lightly held. Brushes mark a gentle sway, unrushed, unexcelled. The bass line hums beneath it, deep like rooted ground, a steady inner echo in the thinner sound. I look at streets I walked before, now small and thin, traffic threads and silent lines where noise once lived within. Buildings that felt towering from sight to view, now rest in measured patterns, softened in the blue. I didn't race the trail or measure every mile, no stopwatch at the summit, no competitive smile, just step and breath repeated over dirt and stone, until the wider horizon one was clearly shown. Bench above the city, perspective in the air, not shrinking what I've carried, just seeing it from there. The weight I brought uphill doesn't feel as tight, spread out the sky and diffuse light. You made it. Not louder, just steady. A couple passes quietly with water and a map. We share an art of understanding in that silent gap. Everyone arriving in their separate ways, each one finding something at the end of the day. Cloud shadows drift across blocks and avenues, light and shade exchanging in subtle shifting hues. Nothing down below has changed in its daily flow, but distance grants a gentler frame to what I know. Bench above the city, sun lowering slow, golden edges on the glass far below. I stand without reluctance, sling the bag in place, carrying the quiet view back into the race. Take it with you. The path curves down in gravel, same stones as before, but steps feel slightly lighter than when I climbed for more. Bench above the city, no trophy, no decree, just a quiet kind of proof of what I can be. You keep waiting for a signal, like a traffic light to change, like someone with authority will step into your range, stamp a seal across your chest, approve your chosen lane, hand you official clearance to feel what you explain. You rehearse the conversation in case they ask you why you switch directions, why you let some chances die, why you didn't follow the blueprint they designed, why you took the long road and left their path behind. You don't need permission to pivot, shift or bend. You don't need a committee to tell you when to end. Not every door requires a key from someone else. You're allowed to authorize yourself. The piano pushes forward, firm chords lightly bright, brushes snap with clarity, confident not tight. The bass line walks beneath it, steady, upright, clean, like backbone under language that's rarely seen. You think you need consensus before you change your name, before you chase the quieter dream instead of louder fame, before you rest at midday, before you move away, before you say this doesn't fit me anymore today. You ask invisible judges if you're qualified to try, as if courage must be notarized before you apply. But growth doesn't send memos or wait in line for review. It happens when you claim what's already true. You don't need permission to start when you're not ready, to walk when you're unsteady, to speak when your voice shakes. You don't need applause to validate You feel disappointed, faces you respect, but disappointing yourself is harder to correct. There's no final warning, no trumpet in the hall, just quiet dissatisfaction if you never call. You don't need permission to outgrow who you were, to redraw expectations, to let old visions blur. You don't need a ceremony or a perfect start, just a steady private yes inside your heart. Say it. Say it. The world won't send an envelope with clearance to be free. It won't announce you're turning with grand decree. So if you're waiting for approval to live the way you choose, you might wait forever and still refuse. You don't need permission, you already know the light you're watching is yours to let it glow. No committee vote required, no signature to see. You don't need permission, you just need to be.
I used to measure every step against a distant line, comparing shadows on the wall to someone else's shine. I learned to fold my sharper edges, tuck my colors in, trying to fit a narrower frame with practice, patient grin. But mirrors tell a different truth when you are still enough. They don't demand perfection's mask or call your spirit bluff. So here I stand without disguise, breathing slow and wide, letting every quiet fly rest gently at my side. I'm not a polished stone, cut to catch the light. I am later, warm and real, soft but full of might. There's beauty in the way I think, and how my laughter bends, and how I hold a steady gaze and choose my words as friends. I don't need every room to turn or every voice to praise. I need the calm inside my chest that guides my living days. The rhythm underneath my skin keeps faithful, even time a pulse that says I'm worthy now without a mountain climb. I bless the girl I used to be, trying hard to please. She did her best with what she knew to navigate the seas, and now I take her by the hand, not to correct or blame, but to thank her for the strength that helped me stake my claim. Comparison is a fading tune, I no longer sing along. My harmony is shaped by me, distinct, assured and strong. I dress my mornings in my taste, not in what trends demand. I move according to my pace with grounded open stance. There's freedom in accepting space, the room my body takes. The sound my deeper voice creates, the path my courage makes. I speak with warmth, I walk with ease, I rest without defense. I trust the steady undertone of lived experience. If doubt should whisper in my ear, I greet it like a guest. I listen, then I let it pass. exactly where I grow. Every scar and soft line has something true to show. The world may spin in louder ways with brighter claims to fame, but I am centered in my frame, unafraid to claim my name. And when I catch my own reflection in glass or passing rain, I see a woman standing tall, comfortable and plain. No borrowed line, no hidden tone, no need to rearrange. Just steady love, my bones unshaken by the change. So let me live in honest skin with all that I contain. In my own reflection, clear, I rise again.
You're sitting on the edge of your bed, thinking you're behind, measuring your worth against a future undefined. The room feels small around you, posters on the wall. Every dream is fragile, it might not stand at all. You keep replaying conversations long after they are done, wishing you had answered in a way that might have won. You think the world is watching every awkward move, like one wrong step will cancel all you hope to prove. Dear younger me, I wish that you could see the weight you're holding now won't last indefinitely. You're not as lost as you believe, not as far from free. There's time ahead unfolding more than you can see. The piano plays a gentle line, soft and unafraid. Brushes tracing patience like slow decisions made. The bass line rests beneath it, low and warm and clear. A steady kind of promise that you will make it here. You think the confidence arrives all at once, that someday you'll awaken, transformed by circumstance. But growth is quieter than that. It builds in subtle ways in how you rise upon remarkable days. There will be evenings later where you'll sit just fine, not because you solved it all, but because you gave it time. The doubts that feel enormous will shrink to honest size. They won't disappear completely, but they won't run your life. Dear younger me, you don't have to rush. Not every closed expression means you're out of touch. The ones who truly see you will stay without a plea, and you will learn to love yourself more steadily. You're doing better than you think right now. You will try and fail at something that once defined your name, and you will think it's over, that you've stepped outside the frame. But failure is an exile, it's shaping you unseen into someone far more grounded than you've ever been. You'll find a voice in fragments, not in one clear shout, in pauses before speaking, knowing when to bow out, in choosing calm responses when old fears try to lead in, realizing you're enough without excessive speed. Younger me. to your heart. Not everything uncertain is falling apart. Some paths look disconnected before they intertwine, and what feels like delay is often perfect timing. Breathe. You're allowed to grow slow. One day you'll look back gently, not with sharp regret, but gratitude for every risk you almost didn't get. Because the version sitting there on that small unmade bed is braver than you realize, despite the things you said. Dear younger me, hold on but not too tight. Life won't hand you all at once. The answers overnight. It unfolds in patient layers, in steps you cannot see, and you become exactly who you're meant to be.
The curtain lifts without a warning. Light spills across the floor. I feel it settle on my shoulders like I've been here before. It's been some time since I've stood within this open frame, where every breath becomes a sound and every sound a name. I used to chase the louder nights, the rush of being seen, the dazzling rush of crowded rooms and stages dressed in sheen. But silence shaped me differently in rooms without applause. It taught me how to hear myself without the outside cause. Now when I step into this glow, my pulse is calm and sure. I do not need the noise to rise to feel that I am good. The piano finds a gentle key, the bass begins to flow, a rhythm steady, grounded, warm, like something I already know. I open with an honest note, not sharpened for effect, no baritone, no polished edge, just truth and full respect. The audience is breathing soft, a sea of patient eyes. I sing not to impress the room, but simply to arrive. Each phrase lands closer to my chest than any song before, because I'm not performing now, I'm opening a door. There were years I shaped my sound to fit a narrow mold, sanding down the grain of me to match what I was told. But depth cannot be manufactured or filtered into shine. It grows in quiet solitude until the roots sink. So now I let the lower notes resonate and stay. Let every textured breath reveal the woman of today. The spotlight does not blind me. It feels like morning air, a circle of intentional light that says remain right there. I see a face in the second row, hands folded near her heart. If even one line reaches her, then that alone's enough. The brush drums keep a steady sway, the guitar threads between electric keys and subtle hues, support but never lean. My voice rises not in force, but fuller than before, a tone that carries history without the weight of home. I sing of roads I wandered, off of doubts I learned to face, of how returning to myself was not a fall from grace. When the final chorus settles into the waiting air, there is no frantic need for more, no hunger for a glare. Applause begins in gentle waves, then builds but doesn't own. The deeper triumph lies within a steadier backbone. I bow not as a conqueror or someone newly crowned, but as a woman finally sure of where her voice is found. The curtain falls in softened light, the stage returns to calm, yet something stronger lingers still, a quiet lasting balm. I did not come to claim the past or resurrect its flame. I came to stand in present tone without a need for fame. And as I step beyond the glow into the waiting hall, I carry not the echoes rush, but something truer still. Because the place I truly sought was never just the song, it was the ground beneath my feet where my voice belongs.
I pull it from the back of the closet, fabric cool, sleeves remembering the shape of last year's quiet chill. The center seat lingers, faint but clear and clean, like something folded carefully between what's been seen. Button smooth beneath my thumb, color brushed with light, mirror catching older lines, softer winter white. I shrug it over shoulders, feel the weight of line, not heavy, not dramatic, just settling into my first coat of the season. Head turning sharp and thin, I pull for seconds before it pulls back in. No rush to prove endurance, no rush to chase the cold, just stepping out more mindful than I was years ago. The piano moves in open tones, cool but never bleak. Brushes trace a gentle pulse, measured, calm, unique. The baseline hums beneath it, low and grounded deep, like a steady inner warmth the weather cannot keep. Leaves along the sidewalk, crisp beneath my stride, colors shifting quietly along the curbside. There's something in transition that used to feel abrupt, now it feels like tuning instead of being cut. I used to fight the cool and cling to fading heat, wishing days were longer, unwilling to retreat. But seasons have their time, independent of my will, and learning to accept that feels surprisingly still. First coat of the season, hands tucked in the seam, street lights glowing earlier than summer ever seen. Shops with fogged up windows, velvet ember glow, everything more intimate in a slower tempo. Let it change, you'll change too, and that's fine. There's comfort in the layering and scarves around the throat, in feeling slightly smaller inside a thicker coat. Not shrinking in importance, just closer to the core, aware of every heartbeat behind the closing door. The wind moves down the avenue, carrying its tone, but I don't brace against it or walk it off alone. I move with steady footing, not racing for the train, because cold air can clarify what heat made hard to name. First coat of the season, not lost but different light, a gentler kind of brightness against the coming night. Some chapters cool on purpose to sharpen what we see, and standing in clarity feels quietly like me. behind me. Outside the dust can roam, and I hang the coat up ready for the days to come.
Turn the handle twice before you lock the door. Said it made you certain, even though once worked before. Now I catch my own hand doing it without a second thought. A small and quiet memory my body somehow caught. You folded towels a certain way, edges lined in place. I never paid attention then. Now I trace the shade, the coffee tastes a little strong because of how you put one extra spoon, no sugar, like something misunderstood. I didn't think that love would live in gestures quite so small, not in the way a jacket hangs or how you clear the hall. You hum beneath your breath at night when reading in the chair, a low and steady melody drifting through the air. The apartment holds that echo still, though silence fills the room. Not haunting, not accusing, just a softer kind of tune. I've washed the sheets and moved the couch, shifted frames around, but something in the quiet keeps your outline firm. It isn't sharp breaking, pulling me undone. It's simply how I live in, intertwined as one. You left your favorite glass behind, the rim slightly worn. I keep it near the sink without feeling torn. I used to think forgetting was proof that I was strong, but now I see remembering does not mean I belong to what we were completely, or what we tried to be. It just means that your presence once mattered deeply. I tie my hair the way you like without realizing why. I choose the corner table where we let ours fly. These habits don't demand return or whisper we were wrong. They simply show that loving can settle long. There's tenderness in noticing the marks we gently leave, not scars that need repairing or reasons to grieve. You shape the way I listen, more patient than before. You taught me how to pause instead of keeping score. Even the way I speak at times carries bits of you, not as imitation, but something grown and true. I don't resent these echoes or wish them out of sight. They're woven into daily breath and subtle quiet light. One day these habits may dissolve or soften into air, but right now they are reminders that we were careful there. We loved in ordinary ways, without dramatic art, and that is why your smallest traits still linger in my heart. Not heavy, not demanding, not asking to rewind, just gentle proof of what we shared and habits left behind. And as I turn the handle twice before I close the door, I smile at how some parts of you live here a little more.
Gravel shifting under shoes, rest, steady, warm. Last few steps along the path after winding form. Trees thinning near the summit, sky widening slow. City stretched in distant lines far below. I set my bag beside the bench, wood, weather pale. Initials carved in corners, stories without a tale. Wind moves across the open hill, cool against my face, carrying a broader view of time and place. Bench above the city, no applause, no sign, just quiet confirmation. The climb was mine. No ribbon at the finish, no camera in the sky, just lungs returning evenly after steady try. The piano open, spacious, clear and lightly held. Brushes mark a gentle sway and rushed unexcelled. The bass line comes beneath it, deep like rooted ground. A steady inner echo in the thinner sound. I look at streets I walked before, now small and thin. Traffic threads in silent lines where noise once lived within. Buildings that felt towering from sidewalk point of view, now rest in measured patterns, softened in the blue. I didn't race the trail or measure every mile. No stopwatch at the summit, no competitive smile. Just step and breath repeated over dirt and stone till the wider horizon was clearly shown. Bench above the city, perspective in the air, not shrinking what I've carried, just seeing it from there. The weight I brought uphill doesn't feel as tight, spread out beneath the sky in diffuse light. You made it, not louder, just steady. A couple passes quietly with water in mouth. We share a night of understanding in that silent gap. Everyone arriving in their separate way, each one finding something at the end of day. Cloud shadows drift across blocks and avenues, light and shade exchanging in subtle shifting hues. Nothing down goes change in its daily flow, but distance grants a gentler frame to what I know. Bench above the city, sun lowering slow, golden edges on the glass. Far below, I stand without reluctance, sling the bag in place, carrying the quiet view back into the race. Take it with you, take it with you. The path curves down in gravel, same stones as before, but steps feel slightly lighter than when I climbed for more. Bench above the city, no trophy, no decree, just a quiet kind of proof of what I can be, of what I can be.
When you closed the door behind you, it didn't shatter me in two. There was silence, yes, and shaking, but I didn't disappear with you. I stood there in the quiet with my pulse against my skin, realizing something steady had been waking from within. For so long I measured my reflection in your eyes, adjusted all my edges, smoothed my truth into disguise. Not because you forced it, not because you asked, but loving you so deeply made me bend too fast. I thought losing you would hollow every corner of my chest, that I'd wander through the hours like a guest without a rest. But something unexpected arose up clear and true, a voice I kept on whisper, breaking through. I found me in the leaving, in the space you didn't fill. In the mornings I woke early, in the nights I learned to be still. Not broken into pieces, not aching to be saved, just standing in my own name, unapologetic, brave. I started drinking coffee the way I like it strong. Stopped apologizing for feeling things too long. I rearranged the furniture of habits in my head, let go of tiny doubts I'd quietly fed. I walked alone through crowded streets without shrinking from the air. Let laughter come unfiltered, let strangers see me there. I wore the dress you never liked and felt my shoulders rise, not out of spite or anger, but because it felt like mine. I don't blame you for the ending, we loved the best we could, but somewhere in that loving I forgot what felt like good to me. Not just to us, to my own steady flame, and losing you revealed the difference in my name. I found me in the leaving, in the ache that didn't stay, in the mirror every morning where I didn't look away. There's power in the breaking when it clears the view of who you are beneath the love you once had. I started making plans again that didn't need a pair. Booked a ticket somewhere distant without asking if you'd care. Signed my name to dreams I used to set aside, because I thought devotion meant letting parts of me hide. Now when I think about you, there's warmth without the plea, gratitude for what we were, and space for who I'll be. You were part of my becoming, but not my only shaping. I don't need your shadow to validate my escape. I found me in the leaving, in the rhythm of my breath, in the gentle understanding that love is not a debt. It's a meeting, not a merging, not dissolving into two. Now I stand more centered in everything I do. If someday we cross paths again, you will see it in my stride, the quiet kind of confidence I no longer try to hide. Not hardened by the ending, not closed against the start, just rooted in a deeper trust inside my own heart. I found me in the leaving, and that is what remains. Not a scar to carry forward, but a wisdom in my veins. Loving you was beautiful, but loving me is true. And now I walk into the world whole without you.
You keep waiting for a signal, like a traffic light to change, like someone with authority to step into your range, stamp a seal across your chest, approve your chosen lane, hand you official clearance to feel what you explain. You rehearse the conversation in case they ask you why you switch directions, why you let some chances die, why you didn't follow the blueprint they designed, why you took the longer road and left their path behind. You don't need permission to pivot, shift or bend. You don't need a commitment to tell you when to end. Not every door requires a key from someone else. You're allowed to authorize yourself. The piano pushes forward, firm chords lightly bright, brushes snap with clarity, confident, not tight. The bass line walks beneath it, steady, upright, clean, like backbone under language that's rarely seen. You think you need consensus before you change your name, before you chase the quieter dream instead of louder fame, before you rest at midday, before you move away, before you say this doesn't fit me anymore today. You ask invisible judges if you're qualified to try, as if courage must be notarized before you apply. But growth doesn't send memos or wait in line for review. It happens when you claim what's already true. You don't need permission to start when you're not ready, to walk when you're unsteady, to speak when your voice shakes. You don't need applause to validate the leap, or witness signatures to promises you keep. You can begin right here, right now. You've been collecting maybes from people half involved, letting secondhand opinions dictate what gets resolved. But nobody else is waking inside your skin each day. Nobody else is carrying the weight you choose to weigh. You fear disappointing faces you respect, but disappointing yourself is harder to correct. There's no final warning, no trumpet in the hall, just quiet dissatisfaction if you never call. You don't need permission to outgrow who you were, to redraw expectations, to let old visions blur. You don't need a ceremony or a perfect start, just a steady private yes inside your heart. Say, the world won't send an envelope with clearance to be free. It won't announce your turning with grand decree. So if you're waiting for to live the way you choose, you might wait forever and still refuse. You don't need permission, you already know. The light you're watching for is yours to let it glow. No committee vote required, no signature to see. You don't need permission, you just need to be. The stairwell smells like dust and paint, footsteps soft and slow, door unlatches with a push, cool air starts to flow. Sudden open sky without a frame, stretching wide and dark. Cities scattered far below, lit in careful sparks. Traffic threads in glowing lines, red and white in streams. Windows stacked like quiet grids, holding private scenes. Sirens somewhere distant, fading into night. Up here everything feels smaller, under open height. Rooftop above the noise, breathing room at last. All the sharp and crowded hours, no longer moving fast. Just wind across the concrete and skyline drawing thin. A broader kind of silence settling within. The piano open, spacious chords clear and widely placed. Brushes tap a gentle swing, unhurried pace. The bass line hums beneath it, low and steady, deep, like grounding in expansion that the night can keep. I lean against the railing, hands wrapped round the steel, feeling how the metal cool anchors what I feel. Problems that felt tiny now look meant small, not erased or vanished, just not so tall. I used to stay down in it, caught in every sound. Car horns buzzing messages, footsteps all around. Believing urgency was proof that I was alive, mistaking constant motion for something I must strive. I used to stay down in it, caught in every sound. Car horns buzzing messages, footsteps all around. Believing urgency was proof that I was alive, mistaking constant motion for something I must strive. Rooftop above the noise shows a wider view. Lights blink without demanding anything from you. Buildings rise in confidence, but none of them can shout. The sky keeps quiet balance, holding everything out. Step back just a little, see clouds drift in slow formation across the urban globe. Planes crossing distant pathways in arcs both high and low. There's rhythm in the vastness, in breathing without rush, and letting all the inner static settle into hush. I trace the lines of avenues with my eyes alone, imagining the stories behind each lit up home. Everyone inside them carrying their own weight. Yet from this height it softens into something less than fate. Rooftop above the noise reminds me how to stand, not smaller, not escaping, just steady where I am. Perspective in the distance, the space to understand that I am part of something wider than I planned. Stay here just one more minute. The wind moves through my jacket, city humming low. Eventually I turn back down the stairs I go, carrying that broad into crowded streets. Rooftop above the noise, still steady in my heartbeat.
I saw you first through the window glass, eyes reflected in a moving tree. For a second I forgot to breathe. The time circled back again. You stood there with your hands in pockets looking smaller than I knew. Or maybe I just saw you clearer without the weight of what we grew. My heart didn't race like lightning, it didn't crash against my ribs. It moved like something careful, like it remembered how you lived. There was no storm inside, no trembling at the knees, just a warmth that felt familiar, like a long lost feeling. We almost said hello again, almost let the silence bend, almost stepped across the years that we folded into ends. You turned slightly toward me, I felt the air begin to spin. We almost said hello again, we almost let it I wondered if you felt it too, that gentle pull within and now. Not a hurt, not a heartbreak, just a quiet wondering how two people once so certain could drift without a fight and still stand here unbroken in the soft electric light. I thought about the little things, the way you held your spoon, how you'd read the final pages first and hum an off-key tune. Those details didn't wound me, they didn't make me fall. They simply felt like chapters from a book I once called all. We almost said hello again, almost let our fingers move, almost asked about the years and what they helped improve. I saw your eyes grow warmer, like you felt it settling in. We almost said hello again, we almost let it begin. And maybe that was perfect, that nearly crossing the line, because love doesn't always need to rewrite every time. Sometimes it's just a mirror held steady in the day, showing who we used to be and how we found our way. You look stronger in your stillness, more grounded than before. I saw the quiet in your shoulders, like you'd settled every war. And I stood there with my heartbeat steady as a drum, grateful for the story and who we both become. I almost said hello again, but something felt complete, not broken, not unfinished, just balanced on our feet. We gave each other softness, a half smile, small and thin. We almost said hello again, and that was everything. Train arrived between us, doors sliding open wide. A brief and simple moment with nothing left to hide. You nodded like a promise that needed no defense, and I nodded back in kindness without regret or pretense. As you disappeared inside it, I didn't chase the sound, because loving you once deeply was enough to hold my ground. Some stories don't need sequels, some feelings don't demand a second chance at fire when peace is close at hand. We almost said hello again, and that was more than fine. A quiet kind of closure that felt like gentle time. No ache inside my breathing, no wish to start anew, just gratitude for who I was the day I loved you.
liked its quiet perk. Set it by the window, watered it too much. Googled why leaves turning brown. Panicked at the touch. Now there's basil in the kitchen, succulents on the shelf, a cactus with an attitude that mirrors me myself. I check the soil each morning like it's breaking news. Celebrate a tiny sprout like headline-worthy views. I talk to my plants now like they understand. Hang in there, you're doing fine, is something I've planned. I rotate them for sunlight, apologize for drafts. It's cheaper than a therapist and twice as good for laughs. The piano's got a playful swing, a little bouncing ring. Brushes tapping lightly like mischief settling in. The bassline walks in circles, confident and round, like it knows I found my calm. Chlorophyll and brown. I used to chase productivity, optimize my day, track my habits, count my steps, measure every way. But nothing humbles ego like a drooping little leaf. You cannot out-hustle nature or negotiate with grief. My neighbor thinks I'm strange now, catching me mid-speech. Don't worry, little rosemary, you're finally in reach. He waters his tomatoes, pretends he doesn't care, but I've seen him whisper when he thinks nobody's there. I talk to my plants now about my week and such. They never interrupt me or advise too much. They just stand there photosynthesizing, patient, green and still, teaching me consistency without a single drill. Grow slow, that's fine. So do I. Ferns survived the winter, the cactus bloomed once, the basil bolted awkwardly. But that's life, front to front. Some things thrive in sunlight, some need partial shade. Some days I overwater, some days I underplay. There's wisdom in the watering and tending what you keep, and understanding progress doesn't always leap. It sometimes looks like showing up with a picture in your hand, trusting small routines to slowly shape the land. I talk to my plants now, and honestly it's true. The things I say to them are things I need to hear too. Be patient with your growing, don't compare your leaves. You're allowed a season to shed what no one sees. You're doing fine. Keep reaching. They don't applaud my efforts, they don't demand a plan, but every new unfurling feels quietly grand. Turns out I didn't need another grand romance, just dirt beneath my fingernails and a second chance. Spill my coffee on the counter right at 8:15. Late for something I can't remember, but acting like a son. Wallet half inside my jacket, phone between my teeth. Trying hard to multitask with dignity beneath. The barista looked up calmly, none of it was new. Handed me a stack of napkins, said, I got you. Then he paused before he turned back toward the machine and said my name so casually, like it had always been. The stranger who knew my name caught me off my guard, not from fame or status, not from working hard, just from showing up enough at the same old place. Turns out being ordinary leaves a trace. The piano leans into a brighter groove, a little lift and stride. Brushes tapping crisp and light with humor tucked inside. The bass line walks with confidence, easy, clean and clear, like something small but meaningful just happened here. I laughed it off too quickly. Did I forget we met? He shrugged and kept it simple. No, I just don't forget. Said I order oat milk every single week. Said I hum when I'm impatient. Said I rarely speak. Suddenly I wasn't rushing or late for anything. I was just a regular in the middle of a swing of daily human overlap that quietly aligns the unnoticed repetition of our passing times. The stranger who knew my name didn't change my life, didn't hand me revelation, didn't solve my strife, but something shifted subtly in how I moved that day, realizing I was visible in an unremarkable overseas, more than you think. I walked out into traffic, still holding that receipt, thinking about the 1,000 faces I failed to really greet. How many names I've overheard without holding on. How many quiet constants I've leaned upon. He wasn't flirting, wasn't prying, wasn't overkind, just paying close attention to the background of my mind. And in a world of noise and scrolling profiles neatly framed, there's something revolutionary in someone knowing your name. The stranger who knew my name wasn't trying to impress, just doing what he always does with steady attentiveness. And maybe that's the lesson hidden in plain sight. Recognition doesn't need a spotlight. Step inside that shop, I look a little longer at faces I once skimmed past like they were barely there. Turns out connection isn't rare or cosmic or untamed. Sometimes it's just consistency, someone knowing your Everybody's walking faster, like the pavements on a clock. Shoes tapping out ambition on every single block. Screens glowing, moving faces, deadlines in their eyes. The air is thick with hurry under steel and glass and sky. I used to match the tempo, let it pull me by the sleeve. Every ringing notification felt too loud to leave. Breathing like a contest, running without pause, measuring my value by invisible applause. But the city keeps on turning, whether I run or stand. So I loosen up my shoulders and unclench my hands. There's a rhythm underneath it, quieter than the sound, a steady vibration if you're willing to be found. The city moves, I don't, not the way it used to make me. I let the trains rush past without letting them shake me. There's power in the choosing not to join the race, strength inside the stillness and holding my own pace. The piano drops a low chord, soft against the noise, brushes on the snare like a whisper in the void. The bass line hums assurance, deep and unafraid, like something rooted firmly, even when it sways. Billboards flash their promises of faster, bigger, more. Elevators climb ambition through every mirrored floor, but none of it can tell who I need to be if I forget the person walking quietly in me. The city moves, I don't, at least not in that way. I won't trade my breathing for a brighter display. There's room inside my footsteps for something real and slow, a confidence that doesn't need a spotlight's glow. Let them hurry, let them prove you don't have to. I stand at intersections and watch the colors change, red to green to yellow in predictable exchange. Everyone surges forward like there's something to defend, but I've learned the art of waiting without fearing what might end. There's clarity in choosing not to answer every call, not to fill each silence or scale each shining wall. I'm building something quieter, layer by steady layer, a foundation made of patience and honest self-aware. The city moves, I don't. I bend but never break. I move when it feels right, not for appearance sake. There's calm inside